Activision presents a smashing blast from the past.
And me, they present me too, because this is
Developed by
they made
visions.
No, they didn't. Hello there, internets. Version 2 here with this motherfucker. Oh yeah,
Crash Bandicoot.
he said it for me, so I don't have to. But I'm gonna say it because it's Crash Bandicoot. Oh yeah, N-Sane trilogy. Well, I'm super excited. I mean, I've already played through the N-Sane trilogy, but I wanted to do videos on them too. And I wasn't going to just immediately jump into the N-Sane trilogy and try and record it with not playing it for like a decade, because that would have gone poorly. So hopefully I won't be super shit tier at this. I'm gonna be super shit tier at this though. But it's motherfucking Crash Bandicoot. Along with games like Abe's Odyssey, modern games. It's Crash Bandicoot! So along with Donkey Kong Country, Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, this is one of the big games for my childhood. Not this one specifically. I hardly played Crash 1 when I was a kid, and I got up to the high road and never beat it because of the save system. It's the only reason I can beat this game now.
We haven't determined the cause of past failures.
But I played Crash 2 a shitload when I was a kid.
This Bandicoot will be my
3.
general.
And Wrath of
Will
Cortex.
lead my Cortex
Team
commandos
Racing.
to world
And Nitro
domination.
Kart.
This time,
Tag Team Racing was weird.
reign triumphant.
And I never beat Twin Sanity because I couldn't get past that Nina boss fight with the organs. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. So there's all the bosses that we're going to eventually fight.
Quickly, into the vortex.
Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Then why are you putting him in there, bro? Oh, man, Cortex is awesome. And I say that because of nostalgia, most
Failure
likely.
again.
His head is like an inverse, like,
To him.
what are the names of those? Cylindrical cone. Is it cylindrical cone? Just cone?
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
The one that is basically just Coco. Wait, no, Coco's the one in this. Candy Kong. She's Candy Kong. She's basically Candy Kong. There is definitely Candy Kong X Torna stuff online. Definitely, without question. Looking at the two, that is definitely. Point is, Crash Bandicoot. Whoa. I'm like, this game came out a while ago, and I'm like, super after the mark. I also don't care because it's Crash Goddamn Bandicoot, and I just want to play through it again. And fuck, if I'm gonna play through it again, then I will do this. Crash Bandicoot, a game that apparently needs an inventory. I mean, it's just that, but it's still weird seeing press this button for inventory. It's a weird way of writing it. Anyway, yo, Crash Bandicoot! And the people in the comments can have the discussion of whether Crash Bandicoot is actually a good game. This is the first game is a game where I would say the level design is sometimes not good. There are some levels that are good. There are some times where definitely not, like the camera being weird there. But like, because when Crash Bandicoot came out and people were talking about this, it's like I saw a lot of people going, "Wait, is Crash Bandicoot actually a good game or not?" And I honestly asked myself that same question, like, because like I stopped playing the Crash games when I was fairly young. Like the last new one that I played was Tag Team Racing or Twin Sanity, which one came out first? Honest to God, I don't remember. Whichever one came out second is the one that I played last. And like I haven't gone back to play most of them since then. Which way is the? I think this way is the. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, I'm gonna do so bad at this. Like I hadn't played so Crash Bandicoot was something that was like firmly in my childhood and not afterwards. And I'm just like, wait, is Crash actually a good game? Like, is it well designed? Like, it can be fun, but like, is it well designed? I don't actually know. Because I never went back to them. Like, games like the other important games to my childhood of like Abe's Odyssey and Exodus and Donkey Kong, I've gone back to those games so many times, and I can still like comfortably say, no, they're still really well designed games. Crash is a series I never went back to. So I was just like, wait, are these games actually... Oh, that was the entire path there. Are these games actually good or not? I don't know. And I was like, people going, yes, people going, no. And I'm just like, I honest to God don't remember. That is everything. I'm getting paranoid already on the first goddamn level that I'm not getting all the boxes. I mean, not that it matters, because, like, most of this first island you can't complete now anyway, which is another part of the level design of this, that yet need to replay so many levels because of the gem paths, which they fix up in the next games, because not all the colored gems are shoved into, like, the last 5 levels in a row. But... see, it was a constant question of, are these games actually well designed? Are they actually good? And then the N-Sane trilogy comes out, and I play through it, and I'm just like, oh yeah, they were. They were actually good. They're, like, not, like, super high quality like some of the other platforms, but they're still, like, good. There are parts of this game that are definitely busted. This is definitely the low point of the first 3. But I would still say it's, like, an overall well-designed game with just some certain aspects of levels and certain quirks that aren't good. But then I realized that the discussion was never about the level design, despite me thinking that was what the entirety of the discussion was about. The discussion was about the controls, and then I'm just like, oh no, I love the controls. This is, like... okay. Can I reach that? Yes, I can. Actually, it doesn't matter. I can't beat this level now anyway. This is one of the levels that you need a colored gem to if you, I'm explaining, like, nothing about how this game works, but it's fucking Crash Bandicoot, you probably know. You get it, you spin doctor, yeah, you get every box, you get a gem at the end. Some levels have colored gems. If you have colored gems, then you can go back to previous levels and unlock gem paths, like this. If I have the green gem here, I can go up to what that box up there was, but I don't have the green gem, because it's, like, one of the last... actually, no, green gem's pretty early on. Well, by pretty early on, I mean, like, halfway through the game. So there's a lot of levels that you can't even actually 100% your first time through because of that, and not being able to 100% a level the first time through is okay in of itself, because a lot of those some of those alternate paths, like the difficulty of them is based around the difficulty of whereabouts that gem would be, so it's like, yeah, fair enough. But so many levels in this game have gem paths, and all the gems are right at the end. Like Crash 2 and 3, I'm not sure, I remember about 3. But Crash 2, like, a lot of the you get, like, colored gems very early on, and you get most of the parts. And you can actually play that game in a way where you can do most levels without playing it twice. That's what those do. So secrets, oh man. And trophies in these games too, oh. But yeah, the controls for, like, Crash are very momentum-based, and I personally love that. Which is why I really want to buy Sonic Mania. Because I never liked Sonic 1, and I never played Sonic 2 or and Knuckles. Like, the only, like, Sonic games I've played are 1, Generations, and Boom. Have I played others? I don't think so. I don't think I have. So, like, I never liked Sonic 1, because it's just, like, it felt weird. Oh, no, I missed boxes that I physically couldn't get. Fuck you. Also there's so many of these levels that you physically can't get all the boxes on the first time around, but they still feel the need to, at the end of everyone, going, no, you fucked up. And it's just like, no, I physically couldn't do it. Like, they're punishing you for something that you physically have no control over. Another one of those is, like, very, very discouraging. For, like, if you're a little kid playing, it's just like, oh, no, I missed all those boxes. And it's just like, you could never get them, but the game will still try to make you feel bad about it. So it's like, fuck you, game. But yeah, like, I never liked Sonic when I was a kid. But I've barely played, like, Sonic Generations. I actually love Sonic Generations. And I will clarify. I've only played the 3DS one. Where the, like, the classic Sonic levels in that are okay, but I love the modern Sonic levels in that. Because it's basically just, like, super fast platforming, but all the platforming is QTE. And it actually works in Generations. And it's apparently based off Sonic Rush, so I actually really want to play Sonic Rush to see how that game goes. But realizing that this is momentum-based, albeit in a completely different way to how Sonic is momentum-based, but it's still momentum-based, I really want to get Sonic Mania just to see what that's like. Up. But that's a completely different conversation. I don't know why I'm talking about Sonic Mania now. Probably because I just want to buy and play Sonic Mania. That could be it. But what was I talking about? I don't know. Point is, I still really enjoy this game. Even this first one, which has problems, I still enjoy it. And there's certain bugs that weren't present in the first game that oh, fuck me. I can't get every box in this world anyway, so it honestly doesn't matter. Level. Like in this first island, there's like, I think, because I wrote them down. There is 3 levels I can get the gems for, and all the others I need colored gems that are available later. Again, part of the problem with this game. These enemies, I feel are busted. Like, these enemies don't feel right. Like, their hitboxes do not feel right in this version. And there's a couple enemies where their hitboxes don't feel right, and there's a couple platforms where the hitboxes don't feel right. But Activision came out and said that, no, it all works perfectly fine. So, whatever. So, I mean, fuck me, I guess. Despite the fact that there's, like, documented video footage that, like, there's, like, footage of someone, like, jumping in spot like this, and they slowly start moving over to the side because they're, like, somewhat on the edge of a platform, so eventually they fall off. And it's just like, well, that shouldn't happen in a platformer. And then people defending that, saying, no, that makes it more accurate. It makes it more precise as a platformer. And I'm just like, you people are weird. Yeah! It's like that one level in Donkey Kong Country where the tires are like on each side of the roof, but like really often throughout the game. It's dope. Man, these first worlds are easier than I remember. I mean, like I first played through this game and beat it in like what, a week after the game after this came out. So I am like still have decently recent experience with it. And look, another gem that goes beyond the end of the level. So another level that we can't finish. Blop, 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 blop. Missing all the boxes. Not my fault. Not my fault that I'm missing the boxes. Fuck you, game. So obviously I'm going to do all 3 of these games. I'm not going to do them immediately in a row. There'll be some games in between that will break it up. But I'm going to do all 3 of these games. Tempted to go do Wrath of Cortex. And I'm tempted to go do Wrath of Cortex without playing it again. I'm tempted to do Wrath of Cortex as a... This was, when I was younger, my favorite Crash game. Let's replay it when I'm older to see if it holds up. I want to say it does. I want to say certain... Because I remember certain levels and being like, no, those were awesome. But I actually have no idea. But I'm tempted. We'll just say fuck it and go through every single Crash game. Including the Crash Fusion and Spyro Fusion. You know, those ones that are all minigames? I'm trying to think of what... I think I may have been wrong on my most recent Crash game that I've played outside of this series is Twinsanity. It would have come out before... it was either Twinsanity or Tag Team Racing. Whichever one came out second was the one that I played last. But now that I think about it, that may actually be wrong. It may be the GBA games. Like XS or Big Adventure or whatever it's called. It changes names between regions, and I don't remember which region has which. I think Australia had XS and Entranced, the Game Boy Advance Crash games, the ones that were the whole game was a 2D platformer. I think I played those last, and not that I like because they came out afterwards, but because at some point, which I think it must have been after the other ones came out, I got those on emulator on computer and did it. Hey, another gem. This level had like 13 boxes. I think those are the last few ones that I played. And I remember enjoying those. But I was going through a massive 2D platformer phase at that point. So that may have just been because it was another 2D platform. I don't know. There is so many Crash games. And it's like, it's so weird that like I played so much Crash when I was younger. Like Crash 2, I played through a shitload. Wrath of Cortex, I probably played through that at least a dozen times when I was a kid, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that. Like, when I was younger, I played so much Crash, and then I just abandoned the series when I got older. Admittedly, part of that is because the series also decided to abandon reality and not have new games made for it. Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, I never even touched. I never even looked at those. So, I don't even know if they really count as, like, Crash games. Do they? Are they similar enough to be, like, counted? I don't know. Like, a big part of me, like, abandoning Crash is Crash abandoned being a thing. But it was never a series that I went back to. Which is weird because of how much I played it when I was a kid. So there's been so many games from when I was younger that I've gone back and played through. And part of it is to see, do these games actually hold up? And a lot of them did, and some of them didn't. But this was never a series that I went back to. And the N-Sane trilogy is like the perfect thing that reminded me that I enjoyed Crash. and playing through these games, it's just like, no, I actually do like these games. They're not like anywhere near as high quality as like other platformers, but they're still fun. Like, they're nowhere near as well designed or anything, but they're still fun. And there's just something about the way that Crash moves that I intrinsically enjoy. And I know a lot of people don't because of that focus on momentum for some of those weirdities. Look! More gems that I can't do. That being said... Oh, can you do this one? I can't remember if you can break this one. Because there's a box underneath here that you can attack and get, but I don't remember if you can get that and then like keep it there or not. Because it's meant to be you fall down there and you can like use the gems to get back. Because there's just a box under this. There might be a way to break it, but I'm not going to try it. But I do seem to recall that it is possible. But now that I say that, I'm not actually certain. But it's weird for like a series like this to come, come out to remind me how much I enjoyed this series, and now just like wanting to play a lot of it again because they don't seem to have any plans on remaking the other Crash games, which is fair. Like if they remade like Wrath of Cortex, I would be so excited, and then I'd play it, and it was just like, oh no, this did age poorly. Whoops. See, like, I think of Wrath of Cortex, and the thing is, like, I go, yeah, I enjoyed that game, I like that game, and then all of the parts of that game that I remember are, like, not typical Crash levels. I remember the levels where you're driving the Jeep, I remember the levels where you're in the hamster ball, oh look, more gems again at the end of it. Like, I remember that. I remember the, what's it called? Yeah, the hamster ball levels, I remember the, Jeep levels. I remember that one where you're like flying over that volcano island and you have to destroy those boats. And when I was younger, I for the life of me could not work out how you're meant to beat that level. And then I realized, oh, if you aim at them for long enough, your attacks lock onto it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And like that had the thing with like the tornado ones with the ships, and like the skiing down the mountain with Coco and running away from the tsunami with Coco. Like I remember these levels, but like the standard normal levels, I don't remember. I remember some of their themes like Wild West and like Medieval Gauntlet, but I don't remember what the levels designs were like that. But like the parts where I remember the designs are like all of the gimmicky stage things, and I'm just like, that's what makes me worry that it doesn't hold up. That I remember the set pieces and none of the actual stages. Oh, also, this is absurdly easy. Fuck you, you will... Oh, no, he got one rotation in. Damn. Damn. He got a rotation in. You motherfucker, Papu Papu. Papu popped. Like Lola popped. Coming to ARMS at some point. I really need to play ARMS again. I haven't played it since Max Brass came out. Blame Splatoon. I do really like ARMS. It's just that Splatoon came out. And then I stopped playing ARMS. And I think everyone did. Let me just talk about every fucking game. Oh, and by the way, the best part about this series, and why it's the definitive edition, motherfucking Coco Bandicoot! Sup? Oh, I meant to press X. I thought I pressed X. Do you want her to join your adventure? Yes! Obviously, I want her to join my adventure. Swap hero! The rest of this fucking game outside the boss fights is Coco Bandicoot, because Coco's the best. Coco's fucking awesome. If you dare play the N-Sane trilogy, and you don't play as Coco Bandicoot every single moment that you have an opportunity to, honestly, it just means that you hate feminism, so fuck you. Because Coco Bandicoot's fucking awesome. Go Coco, go Coco. Is it you go Glen Coco? Is that the joke? Is that the reference? I never watched Mean Girls. Is it Mean Girls? I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and also, obviously, have to address the elephant in the room. It's Crash Bandicoot, like the most, well, not the most, but like one of the most well-known, like, Australian, like, mascot things. I mean, Junkrat exists now. So, I mean, Junkrat. But, yeah, this is the Australian one. Solutions. Oh, and another mask, because I blew up these ones. I'm just going to go through this entire level in Vinci Volanto. Pop! Yeah. Fuck you! Pop you! So, yeah, as a hilarious side note to the fact that like Crash Bandicoot is the Australian because Bandicoot's Australian, and if you watch the fucking Skylanders TV show, and it's just like Crash in that is hilarious because he's like, it is the most put on Australian accent, and honest to God, I can't tell whether it's an American doing an Australian accent or whether it's an Australian taking the piss out of people who do poor Australian accents. Listening to it as an Australian, I honest to God can't tell, but it's fucking amazing. And everything is extreme something, which I'm really tempted to name every single episode of this series extreme whatever happens in that episode. Like, I'm really tempted. So, hey, if you see extreme in the title, that's why it's there, because Skylanders. Oh, fuck, if I'm gonna do every single Crash game, I have to do Skylanders, like, Imaginators, because that's what Crash is in it. Spyro was there from the start. Crash joined in right at the end. And Donkey Kong and Bowser are there at one point for some reason. But, moreover, part of this game being Australian, and I do legitimately believe it is part of the reason why I was purchased this game when I was a kid. Oh, no holds barred. That is a Coco Bandicoot trophy. There's trophies in each game for doing things as Coco, but there's none for doing it specifically as Crash, so even for trophy people, you want to do that. Yeah, the last embryo thing, I believe, is this blue gem drop-off that's here. So I can't do the embryo level. Embryo secret levels are super difficult, but yeah. Being an Australian game, I think it's part of the reason that I was purchased it, because my parents saw it. I was just like, oh, look, it's a little Australian mascot. We should get it for our kids to play. I've never asked them that to confirm it. But the thing that makes me think that is the fact that in Australia, and I am not joking when I say this, in Australia, the Crash Bandicoot games on PlayStation, like the first time I play is Coco, she gets the shit beaten out of her because I couldn't do the secret thing. Like, it's punted, like, she goes down onto the ground, and it's like, ow, and it's like, I couldn't avoid that. Fuck you, game. You're punishing me for something I had no control over. Fuck you. But yeah, the Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation Network store, not even joking, have been the #1 sellers, like, either per week or per month, almost every single week or month since they came out. And I am not in any capacity exaggerating when I say that. The N-Sane trilogy has been the #1 selling game every week in Australia since it came out, including the week where Splatoon and shit came out. Actually, I think there was 1 week where it didn't win. I think since it came out, there's been 1 week where it's not the #1 seller in Australia. But since it's come out, it's been #1 pretty much every single week, including weeks where other big releases like Splatoon come out. It's just like, what the fuck? We just keep buying Crash Bandicoot. Like, it's so much our #1 seller. And like, we're talking, like, on the PSN store, it being the #1 seller, we're talking for years. Where, oh, fuck me. No, damn it. Damn it. I missed a box stupidly because I was talking about Crash Bandicoot. Alright. Damn. So I haven't died yet, so I figured I'll just do this. See if I can get through this whole first world without dying once. But yeah, it's nuts. Like, I don't know and it's gonna do that because yeah. I don't know the exact, how many weeks, but most weeks on the PSN store, one of the 3 Crash games, mostly 1, but sometimes 2, were the #1 sellers on the PSN store. For, like, and it's not just after they were just released, for, like, most weeks. Like, ever. It's fucking nuts. Australians love this game. And I think a big part of that is, like, a lot of Australians played this game when they were younger because their parents bought it for them because it was... I'm guessing the marketing for this game must have been fucking huge down here. Like, down under, I should say. I'm guessing the marketing for this game was fucking intense. Just be like, look, it's the Australian Bandicoot. It's a game about you. I'm just like, oh my god, we're being represented in video games. So, it's just like, oh my god, we gotta play it. Yeah, and just, like, the strong nostalgia for this game of, like, all Australian kids growing up, it's just constant. It's constantly, like, a #1 seller, and it's hilarious to me. Like, it's at a point where it's just like, how does every Australian not already own this game? Like, how does it keep being a #1 seller? But as Australians, we're very much, damn it, first step. We're very much a country where we either don't buy, it's either we don't buy a lot of shit or we get obsessed with something very, very quickly. Or not quickly, very, very strongly, and like just pass it around to our friends, which Australian culture is a lot of like friends chat to each other about like, oh, I'm enjoying this thing and doing that and showing off a lot of things, because like parts of that socialness are very strong in our culture of like meeting up with people and chatting and stuff. I mean, like I know that's a culture everywhere, but in specific marketing terms, it's strong here. Like, our purchasing culture in Australia is fucking weird. We're the #1 country for magazines in the world. We sell a fuckload of magazines. I work at a news agency. I sell a shitload of magazines. It is absurd. It's died off in the last couple of years because, you know, the thing that you're on right now to watch this, but it's still huge here. Our newspaper industry, they're not making any money, but they still sell a fuckload of them. They don't make any money because they sell them cheap enough, because our newspaper industry is all propaganda, so they're okay with losing money because it means they can control politics. But they still lose a lot of money, but we still sell like a fuckload of newspapers. Like, Sydney is a population of about 7 million. And our #1 daily newspaper here, which I'm not going to say the name of because it makes me want to throw up when I say the name of it, we sell like 1 million copies of that a day. Like 1 in 7 people across all of New South Wales will buy our main newspaper. And that's like every single person in New South Wales, including kids who are too young to do that. Like, to really buy and read newspapers. So, like, anyone who's still in, like, school, like, I can't imagine even high school kids are sitting down and reading newspapers. So let's just cut out, like, that. Let's say roughly 5 million adults. It's probably not accurate. It's probably less, because there's so many fucking kids. And, like, but let's just say, like, roughly 5 million adults. We're talking, like, 1 in 5 adults buy our main newspaper, and we've got like multiple newspapers too. That one's by far the #1 selling one, like it's not even close to the other ones. But our purchasing habits are fucking weird here. Like, they're fucking strange. So, like, the marketing for this game to make every single person buy this game when it originally came out, and then still continue to buy it, is that. But back onto my original point of Australian purchasing habits being weird and getting obsessed with things. Pink's album, the Funhouse one? Is it Funhouse? Whatever it is, like Pink the singer, or P exclamation mark NK. These are I like her songs. I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to any of them, but if any of them are on, I'm not going to complain about it, kind of thing. But that's Pink. That's Pink for me. But her album, I think it's Funhouse, or it's one of those. One of the ones where the one that has the song Funhouse on it, the one that she did the Funhouse tours for. I don't know if the album's called Funhouse, or if it's like in the Funhouse, or if it's like, or if Love's in the title of it. I think it might be that, or it might be the one that has Love in the title. I don't know. One of those was the #1 selling album for the year in the year that it came out in Australia. That's fair. It was also the #1 selling album of the year afterwards. Like, for 2 years in a row, Pink's album was the #1 selling album for Australia. And it's like, what? How? And why? Like, that's what I mean by weird purchasing habits. Like, how did so many people buy it the first year around that it becomes the #1 seller? And there's still enough people left who would want it to go out and buy it. I'm just like, what the fuck? It's so, like, Australia loves Pink. She tours here a lot. She's often on our, like, morning shows. Not as much lately, because I think she's taking a break from music, or she's, like, still writing things. I don't know what Pink's doing. But, like, there was a time there for, like, 4 or 5 years where it felt like she was doing tours here, like, every goddamn fucking couple months. And all of them, like, sold out in seconds. Like, she's the #1 selling artist in Australia, and she's not Australian. And it's so weird. Like, our purchasing habits are fucking strange here. They really are. It's so... It boggles me how that's possible. That it can be the #1 selling album 2 years in a row. Like, there are other things that I could, like, there are probably games that have done that. And by games, I mean Minecraft. Where they're, like, the #1 selling things multiple years in a row. Like, ow. Fuck it. All the way back down to the bottom. Oh, these... Oh, man. And all because I wanted some goddamn apples. Or Wumpa fruit, sorry. I want to eat a Wumpa fruit and see what it tastes like. But I know they're not real, so I can't do it. I know, you don't have to point that out to me. But it's just... fuck you. Fine! I'll do the cheaty thing and do this. Oh, yeah, there's also this back here. Yeah! Yeah! Cheat your level! It's just a shortcut. I don't think there's any boxes or any lives or anything there. But hey. Look, we're getting so... Oh, fuck. So this is the part where I'm gonna start dying. This level's actually difficult towards the end here. And now I have none of my boys. Aquas. Australia's fucking weird, seriously. We're a fucking strange country. Ow! Impressive! Impressively done. Asshole. Oh, jump on it, there we go. Oh, actually, I should do this one. Trophy! Feed me, Seymour! Feed me! Because there's trophies for dying in particular ways too. Because it's Crash Bandicoot, and death animations were always a big thing with them. Fuck. Tag Team Racing has like 48 like gag deaths to unlock in that game by finding interesting and clever ways to die, for fuck's sakes. I mean, it's one of my favorite parts of that game, but it's still absurd that it's a thing that's real in that game. Oh, up. Okay, is this gonna... it'll time up well here! Made it. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Fires. Woo! Like, the only thing that Australia loves more than Crash Bandicoot and Pink albums is the fucking Southern Cross tattoo. But a fantastic article where it's just like, all tattoo parlors shut down now that every single person in New South Wales has a Southern Cross tattoo. And it's just like, Southern Cross is a star. Oh, that was bad. See, the hitboxes on these fire things are fucking broken. They're fucking broken. Fix it, Activision, but they won't. But there are definite problems with this release. Like, the improved graphics and the controls damn it. And I've seen some people who've like played this one, the old game, and say the controls do feel a bit better and things like that. Like, I definitely prefer this version of the game, but fuck, some of the hitboxes are wonky as shit. But what was it? What was I saying? Oh, yeah, fuck. That one was me. Yeah, there's the Southern Cross is a constellation in the sky that's visible from, I think, most of the Southern Hemisphere, but it's very prominent from Australia. And it has become like a big symbol for our country. It's just like a star constellation that only Australia can see. It's the Southern Cross because we're a southern country and stuff like that. And basically that's like our constellation. And now it's become a symbol for racist stickers because any symbol of national pride in this country becomes a symbol for racist stickers, like our flag. But that's an entirely different conversation for a different day, because, oh boy, this is the last level for this video, and that will be a massive conversation. This series, actually, fuck it. I didn't mean it to, but fuck it. This entire Crash Bandicoot series will basically be me having various musings on of what it's like living in Australia. Because fuck it, why not? Fuck. This section's annoying. I think there's a way to skip it, but I feel like I shouldn't. Or there's a way to jump onto the back somewhere. I know there's something. Yeah, I think on one of these spikes somewhere, I think you can actually jump onto, so you don't have to make it the whole way. Made it. Yeah, because I have a lot of thoughts about Australia. If you follow me on Twitter, you can fucking see a lot of them. Oh man, wait until the next episode and I tell you about what's happening here with gay marriage, because oh boy, I'm not going to get into this episode because again, not enough time, but oh boy, stay tuned for that fun story, or just follow me on Twitter. Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do the cheaty. Cheaties! You can make it across all three if you time it just right, but that is difficult, and I am not going to do that, so fuck it, cheaties! It's like a breakfast cereal. Cheaties, yeah. And grab with lives. I like how if there's one thing I do appreciate in this game is the way they do extra lives. Because sometimes they're hidden or difficult to get to, and sometimes they're rewards for getting through difficult sections. Like, it's a game where they know certain, like, parts of the platforming are difficult, and often when that's the case, after that difficult platforming section, they'll give you free lives. It's just like, you got through it, here's some lives to make up for that. And that happens so often in this game, and I find it kind of charming that they're just like, they know that it's difficult, so they'll give you a reward afterwards for it. Oh no, I missed the boxes that, again, I physically couldn't get. But, point is, that is the end of the first island. I'm going to break this series up into its various islands. So watch the first video be like 35 minutes like this one is, watch the next one be like 50, and then watch the last one be like an hour and 30. Because, yay, because, oh boy, getting good. So hey, we're on to the second island. So, with a somewhat odd ending to a video. Oh, also, fuck this. The save button is square. And I don't know why. And X is load. Why? Like, I was like, oh, let me just go save. Open up the menu, press X. And then, if you do this, if you load a save slot, all progress will be lost. Which is very similar to the message if you're skimming. That's what it all says. I mean, I know it says in giant words at the top, load. But still. Fucking, why is square save and X is load? Triangle being delete, circle being back, that's fine. Swap the other two, for fuck's sakes. It's so weird. Like, they put X as load, like it's going to be the most common button that you press for that menu. No, it's going to be save. Why would you press load more than save on that menu? It makes no... I love this game, but fuck, it has some weird moments to it. Like, there's fire things, and how the hit detection is wrong. And that there. And on the next video, you will see, because in the next world it happens, one particular enemy. That is fucking bullshit. And a world where certain platforms seem to have poor hit detection, but I don't know if it's just me being bad at level. It's unsettled. Point is, next episode, the game will get, like, we had one level there at the end that actually got difficult. The next episode, more of the levels will be difficult, so it won't be as much of a cakewalk. But stay tuned for the next episode to hear my thoughts on Australia's same-sex marriage and the fuckery we're doing with that, and other rantings of me with this country, because fuck it, it's Crash Bandicoot. I'll use this series with that opportunity. So, until then, this is version 2, signing out.